everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's Mes Favoris, my favorite things. And I have an amazing guest in studio. She's going to introduce herself and then we're going to discuss my favorite thing, which is real estate and all the conversations that are happening around real estate. Karibu, Lucy.
Thank you so much. That was such a nice introduction. My name is Lucy. And I know I'm not new in this social media platform. I'm a realtor. A lot of guys call me Lucy Thuo, the realtor, and I love real estate. And it's such a pleasure to be on your platform just to talk more about real estate.
Real estate, I'm so grateful. So I was seeing you've done so many things around real estate. But first of all, just how did you get into it? How did you get into real estate?
Wow. I'll take you back after my uni years. So when I cleared Form 4, I went to visit my uncle. And I didn't initially, like my interactions with him, I couldn't understand what he was doing, but there's something that I'd picked. This guy must be doing something interesting because he loved what he was doing. Yeah. The word real estate had never got into my mind. I didn't know what it was. And we had a conversation. I told him, I would love to do what you're doing, but tell me more of what you do. And he happens to be a service engineer.
Okay.
If you're watching this, uncle, this is your story.
Hey.
Yes. So he told me real estate. This was back in 2008. Oh, wow. It's been years, yeah? Yeah, 2008. We're having this conversation. He told me there's a new line of, because even he just got into real estate by having inspirations from other people. And he told me you need to try any degree in the property market. He didn't use real estate word.
Any degree in the property market?
Yeah, in the property market. And he told me, come with the selections before you do your final.
Okay. So that he can help you choose.
Exactly. And one thing I could tell you, when I look at my journey now, everything has been aligning itself. Yeah. I loved math. I was an A student, and I told him, anything math, I'm good. Physics, I'm good. So I'll come with a list. Let's go through it, and you're going to advise me. So when you're going through it, he saw land economics and quantity surveying. Yeah. Now, I took probably, now when we were having this conversation, he said, I think quantity surveying could be the best choice to make. So we sat down, weighed my points, but I was missing quantity surveying by 1 point.
Really?
Yeah. Nairobi University, yeah. And I told him, he asked me, so which uni would you want to go? I told him I wouldn't mind just being in the capital city of Nairobi, in Kenya. So we went through it, and he told me the wise decision to do is let's apply for land economics. And then once you get in, you do an intertransfer to quantity surveying. And that's what I did.
Okay.
But when I went in, very thrilled, I applied for an interchange to QS. It never went through. And I found myself in land economics.
And did you love now the land economics?
Now that's where the story begins. The entire of my first year, I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And in this sense, land economics, quantity surveying, you do common topics, like common courses, if I may put it that way. And when you get now to second, it's when now you're specializing in what land economics is. And I remember even in my first year, people used to ask me, Lisa, what are you doing? I say, I'm doing land economics. You're studying about land? Yeah, that's the best explanation I had. And that gave me the thrill now to think beyond the course. And I told myself, maybe from second year, I should venture into internships, get to understand what I'm doing. And I landed my first internship at Dayton's Valuers.
Okay.
This was a first year student who had just finished 1 year.
1 year.
And I remember walking to, by then they were around not Koinange Street, Mamangina Street, and I saw I saw the office. And one thing when I was just looking at it, because you see, when you're not doing, or you're doing something that you're not sure, I knew valuers are under that, property managers are under that, valuation, everything. So I saw Dayton's valuers and I walked into that office. Courageously, I told them, I just need to talk to someone who can help me and to come and see what you do. You don't have to pay me. I just need a seat. And that, when I was just at the reception, the MD passed by. And let me tell you, I always thank some of the things my mom taught me. I was very well dressed, I remember.
Wow.
Very eloquent and very confident.
Amen.
Yeah.
I like it.
I walked in and then the MD said, "Can you let that girl come to my office?"
Wow.
And now I sold myself. I told the MD, I'm not going to mention his name.
Yeah, don't mention his name.
I told him, I'm a first year student. We've just closed down for the long holidays. And I don't want to stay idle. I just want to understand what I'm studying in uni and just to, get to know what is awaiting me in my second year. And that day I went with him for evaluation in Isli. Same day.
Said, let's go.
Yes.
You who is here, eager to learn.
Yes.
Wow.
He asked me, do you want to start today? I said, even now. And he told me, fine, let's go.
Let's go.
And that's how I got my first internship.
Wow.
First year student.
Yes.
Okay. And my first sight of what was awaiting me was not a really good sight, because we went to evaluation of more of a lodging building. And I got a bit, is this what I'm studying?
This is what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, And we had this conversation. He told me, no, things, you're actually, this time you're just watching. You're not doing anything. We got back to the office and I had a lot of questions. I'm always that person who asks questions and I want to know how are things done this way and not this way. So we had that conversation and he told me, do you know how much that property is worth? And he gave me a figure. And he told me, we just need to guide that client on how much his property is worth. And we're going to charge a percentage of that much.
Of that much.
I saw good money.
You saw good money.
Yes.
Lucy.
Okay. And at that point, I told myself, you know what? I am going to now get to every department, get to know what land economics is. Because actually he's also a land economist. And he told me this is one of the instructions that I handle as a company. So 3 months round, property management, valuation, feasibilities, things you don't know, but they're so interesting because ideally you're getting solutions to people. You're actually giving people knowledge that you don't. Yeah. So second year came and after that I went back again to Dayton's for my, you see now I've finished my first year.
Then you finished now your second
year? Second year I went back. And in my third year, the industrial attachment, I got a paying job.
Wow.
For those 3 months.
Wow.
And this was Tyson's.
Wow.
Because now I got conversant with what the market is. I knew the 3 best players by then. Even now they are. And I told myself, let me now start. And I never used to send CVs via email. Hand delivered. Wow. At the reception. If possible, if I can get someone to meet and talk to. And that's what happened to Tyson's. And I got the job.
Amen.
And always I had this thing, don't ask for money. If you love what you do, money will follow.
That's good.
So Tyson's, I never asked for to be paid. They just offered
to pay you.
To pay. And I did my best with them. After that, now the interesting story was after my last paper. you know, Lloyd Masika is just right behind Nairobi Uni. So after my last paper, I walked into Lloyd Masika. I went.
Very brave.
Yeah, I went and I bought outfits for that day. And I was very prayerful. I thank God for Salt. It's Mamlaka.
Yes, I remember Salt
Yeah.
Ministry from the university.
Yes.
So you used to attend Salt.
Yeah, I
Yes,
used
I
to
know
attend
Salt.
Salt.
Wow.
And I remember we had those, you know,
Prayers.
Saltarians
Yeah.
groups and everything. And we were praying for jobs. We were praying for... And this time round, I told God, order my steps. Order my direction where I'm going to do. I've been to Tyson's. I love the brand. I want to associate myself with the best brands. That was my prayer. So I walk into Lloyd Masika. I met a lady and I sold myself to this lady. And she told me, I'm going to take you to the director of property management because you're very confident and whatever we just talked, I want you to go and talk to him about it. So I went, I saw him. I got the job before I graduated.
Wow.
And all the time when I look back, I just see how God favored me in so many ways. And that was one of them. When I was graduating, I was on a pay slip.
Imagine.
Yeah. Now I've done, and that's the thing. I knew experience was very key in this market.
Yes, very key.
And I worked backwards. So when my teammates were in the market looking for work,
you had already worked.
I'd already
You had done
worked.
a number of internships.
Yes.
And now the right doors were open. Wow.
So, and I didn't mind how much I was being paid. Mine was just to learn from the best people.
Yeah.
That was my
That's
key
a very
thing.
good strategy.
Yeah.
Learn from the best.
Learn from the best.
And every door kept opening up to you.
Yes.
And how long now have you done real estate? Because now you came out from being employed.
Yes.
And then you sort of became self-employed.
Yes.
And then I also want to talk about the things that you're doing now, because you're doing a lot on social media. I'm seeing you mentoring people, doing real estate, talking to people. There's so much that you're doing that I'm wondering, that I'm almost saying that other people are not doing in that space.
So once I mean, after my Lloyd Masika, I did 1 year with them. And then at the time I was joining Lloyd Masika, a different department, there's a lady who had left to Knight Frank. And I requested for a number. And I called her. Now this is after 1 year. I told I really need to come and see you. You just tell me how I can get myself to Knight Frank.
Because that's the next.
That was my next move.
So I like the way that you plan your moves in advance.
I'm always very strategic. So I called my friend and she told me, let me get the HR. And this is how God came through. Even now, I ask myself, with what you're asking me about the Masterclasses, that's why I need to talk about the story. Because everything is aligned to where I am today. So I tell her, I want to move. And my next move is you guys. It's a good training ground. And the HR comes and she tells me, we are actually looking for commercial property managers.
Wow. Your steps are really ordered. Wow.
Yes. So she did an email. I went for the interview. I did 4 interviews. I got the job.
Wow.
And I said, no, I don't need to move anywhere else.
Now
that was my training ground.
Okay.
In commercial real estate. Did like 4 years.
Okay.
And 2016, I decided, let me now start thinking of my way out.
Your way out, but into business then?
No, into real estate, basically.
But for yourself?
Well. Yes, for myself.
Okay.
Yeah. And now during that time, since you're learning with the best in the market, you're seeing what is happening in the market. I got out and then I realized the market out here is very harsh.
It's harsh. It's not like the way.
No.
So maybe there's a protection within the bigger companies.
There's a language of how people do things. But then you come out here, you find people
vitu kwa ground.
Yeah, vitu kwa ground ziko different completely. And now that planted the seed in me to see how can I start something to first of all try and clean up the profession.
Business, the profession.
Yeah. and how can I be a voice of some of these things we've seen? And I'm just going to highlight some of them. You meet agents who will say, I have a property, can you pay viewing fee for me to show you those properties? Yeah. For me, that is wrong, because legally it doesn't have any legal ground on that.
Really?
Yes. You're not supposed to pay viewing fee to see what if you don't like it?
I know.
You just need to sit down with a client and agree, if I get your property, then you pay me a finder's fee.
Yes.
Okay.
Or even sometimes with the property owner.
Yes.
Doesn't the property owner also, you agree that if you find me a client,
Yes,
you'll pay me a finder's fee?
That is,
so that's where it's supposed to come from.
Yes. And we have the law that we follow that guides our conduct in this market. Because if I go to a seller, the law provides you pay me 3%
of the value.
Of the value.
Okay.
Okay. Everything is outlined categorically.
Wow.
Yeah. You need to have a mandate. This is how you need to conduct yourself. This is how you need to, if it's a sole agency or multi-agency, everything you agree.
Is laid out.
Yeah. But in residential, you find people, I have a 2-bedroom, you need to pay. And I find that so annoying.
The viewers' fees.
It's so annoying. So that's where I found myself. But then also when I was in Night Trunk in those 4 years, I was working very aggressively to have my certifications, local certifications in place.
So they have certifications for realtors?
Yes.
Okay.
You need to have, or rather you need to do your agency interview with the agency registration board. You get a license.
An agency registration board?
Yes.
So it's quite organized.
It is.
If it works, it works well.
Yes, it does. And every agent in the market, if you're transacting business, you need to have a license.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask to see your license?
Yeah.
Let's say if I'm looking for something, I could ask to see your license.
One thing I
and see if you're registered.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
And they normally gazette.
Oh, it's even gazetted by the government?
By the board. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's some of the things people don't know.
We don't know.
You're so desperate, you want a buyer. I always say, do some research on the agent you're working with.
Yes.
As well.
Don't just work with any agent.
Yeah. And get to know if they know the local market. Yeah. So I did my agency interview. I got that in place. I'm also a registered valuer.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've done very well for yourself, Lucy. You're also a registered valuer.
Yes, I'm a registered valuer. I did this is a very tough interview with the Valuers Registration Board.
Okay.
As well. And then there are also the exams you have to do to be a member of the professional body that governs us, which is Institution of Surveyors of Kenya.
Wow. Institution
of Surveyors of Kenya. Now, that is an institution that governs our conduct in all the landed professions, architects, quantity surveyors, valuers. If you remember, they do exams that now qualifies you to be a member.
Okay.
In that.
I like that. I like that.
So I've done all my local certifications.
Okay.
So when I was coming to the market, I knew I'm a voice that people can respect, because we've gone through the process.
And you have all the documentation.
Yes.
I know they're telling us we're out of time, but I'd like us to talk about like now these masterclasses, because that's what I saw recently.
Yes.
That you're holding masterclasses. So first of all, well done. I think, we do this to inspire people, to get them motivated. So what I've heard from your story, there's a lot of strategy. There's a lot of getting out in front of things. I need to go get the experience. I need to understand what I'm doing. I'm looking for who you want to work for. You identified who you want to work for, and then you went after it, and I can see God's hand in everything. And of course, being a Soltarian was very, very important, and praying, and even the things that your mom taught you. I like that. And that you were confident, bold, articulate, and you went after what you wanted. So that's really good. And then all these amazing certifications, my goodness, there are so many, and also well done for Uncle, for you going to visit him and then that. But now, the other day, I'm seeing you now doing masterclasses. What are the masterclasses about?
So this came from a point of need. when I started having a bit of online presence, I got a lot of
Yes.
inquiries on, can you mentor me?
Wow.
I love what you're doing.
Wow.
And you see, the inquiries were so many. I asked myself, what can I do to just get to a bigger number? You know, not just one person. I tried, which was very good. But then when you look at the time element, you're better off impacting a larger
number of people.
Yeah. So I tried my first masterclass in April this year.
Done this year.
Yeah. And it was a huge success.
Wow, well done. Well
and
done,
it always I always say if it's successful for the first time, try it for the second time.
That's true.
Right? And I remember having this conversation. It was purely in the masterclass, the initial one was purely on professionalism in real estate agency and also how you can become a real estate agent in Kenya. Because you've had now the whole certification. Now people they just wake up, you think you can sell, and then you're out there selling.
Yeah.
But there's an art to it, and for us guys who have been there, we want to guide people in the right direction. So I thought, why don't I just do it? And it's been a good journey, and I'm very happy with the progress.
So you did one in April? Are you going to go one soon?
And I did second edition in July, last week of July. So now that was a bit technical, where from the element of, do agents understand why people put money in real estate? Because for you to transact, I need to convince you how you're going to multiply your money. So that is the question you are answering. Yeah. And I always say every agent has to understand the closing gap. If you come and tell me, Pastor Angie, I have 10 million. I want to understand what is your objective of getting real estate. So I can devise a strategy
that will work for me.
With that. And that is now understanding the closing gap of getting your money and your product to meet your objective. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love it. I really love it, Lucy. Do you have any parting shots for us? And I've been telling all my guests, we're going to have them again. Because I feel like this is the beginning. Like this is the beginning of something. The masterclasses, the learning, this is the beginning of something. So we'll definitely have you back so that we see how the process has gone and what the feedback
There's so much in place. I don't want to unleash everything, but I'll just say you need to keep watching, and if you're in real estate and you're looking for a guide on how you can be better, please just plug into my masterclasses, and also Lucy Thuo, the Realtor, the page. That's also another learning platform. I post a lot of educational in line of real estate on my page, because I've realized social media is a very powerful tool.
It is.
It's not about the following, the fame. It's about profitability. So see how you can just get advantage of the information I'm getting and make profit out of it.
Yeah, because something better for
yourself. And as I always say, real estate is a social business. I need to like you and trust you.
That's so true.
To transact with you.
Yes, even to look for me a house and all those things.
Exactly.
I need to have a connection with you.
Yes.
So that then we connect, and then you can go look out for the property.
Yeah.
And then you can understand what I want, because that's what I also loved working with you about, was understanding what I want and then now going out and meeting that need, which I really love.
Yeah.
Wow, and it's been a while. So I'm really, really grateful. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
You've done really well. And like I said, we'll be back again to have another
I'm looking forward to another sit down.
Yes.
Yeah. And just tell you how we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. Look her up. I'm sure we're going to put all her social media contacts on the screen so that you can follow her. You can join her page, and let's do this. God bless.